The first motivation, Edwards talks about in common virtue, the first motivation is what? Fear. Be afraid. Be very, very afraid. If I lie, somebody will get me. Okay. And that's one reason why people are honest. Fear. And he says there's a second reason people are honest. It's the first reason is be honest. It pays. The second motivation is be honest because you don't want to be like those people that lie. You are an honest person. You're not like those people who lie and cheat. You're not like one of those. I'm the kind of person that tells the truth. I'm the kind of person of honor. Okay, what's the motivation there? Pride. You see, one motivation for honesty is fear, and one motivation is pride. Fear, I don't want to be caught. Pride, I'm not one of those kinds of people. Now, here's what Edwards says. Most of the virtue in the world is not virtue. Most of the reasons that people are kind and people are honest and people are anything good and all virtue is based on this. I'm doing it because it makes me feel superior to other people. I'm not like all those kinds of people. I'm the kind of, I'm scared. And then we said, no, be very, very happy about this. This is one reason why the world's a livable place. It's virtue. But, he says, think about this for a second. The reason that most people do not lie is because of fear and pride. But what is the cause of any lie at all? Why do you ever lie?
Fear and pride.
Why are there lies? Why are there such lies? Fear and pride. Here's what's going on. Most people are virtuous on the surface, but they're virtuous on the surface by nurturing fear and pride, the very cause of sin. In other words, now, Tim, are you following me? I said, hey, this is summertime, and I thought I'd make you think. Make you think. In other words, most people's goodness is rotten at the root. Or put another way, most people are nurturing within their hearts, underneath the goodness over the years. You're actually nurturing. You're not removing the fear and pride. You're dealing with the fear and pride. And this is the reason why some people tonight, especially if you're my age at least, maybe if you're a lot younger, it hasn't happened to you yet. But it's somewhere. You thought of yourself as a decent person. You thought of yourself as a principled person. You thought of yourself as a good person. And you found yourself doing things. How did I do that? I never believed I would do that. I never believed that was right, or I was raised this way, and suddenly you do it. Here's why. You just jury-rig your heart. You haven't changed the heart, you've restrained the heart. You haven't really changed sin. What you've really done is you just put it down so deep, and you're actually, all your goodness and your virtue is only external, and you're moving off of sin and stuff. Your goodness is actually sinful at its root. Why? Because the reason you're good is because it pays for you. And your goodness is a way of staying in control of your life. Your goodness is a way of actually working for your own glory. And at the very, very beginning of time, God said, He did not say, don't eat this tree, because if you eat this tree, it's poison. You'll get a rash. Don't eat this tree because you're allergic to it. He says, don't eat this tree simply because I said so. Because I'm God and you're not. And what they did was sit in there and say, well, you don't give me a good reason. And see, the minute that they began to say, why should I obey, they had already misobeyed. Because the heart of sin is to put yourself on the throne. The heart of sin is to put yourself in the place of God. And to say, the concept here is my glory and my happiness and my agenda, and now, will this get me there? But the minute you say, should I obey, you've already disobeyed. The minute you say, should I sin or shouldn't I sin, you've already sinned. If you don't sin, if you say, should I sin or shouldn't I, how will this make me look? Well, what consequence will this have? Even if you end up doing the right thing, you say, your goodness is rotten at the root. That's why Edwards says this. Common virtue is always temporary. Eventually it's going to blow up. you're staying honest out of fear and pride, but the whole reason that you tell you lies is because of fear and pride. So you're nurturing it. You're bound to be dishonest. You're bound to be selfish. You're bound to lose self-control. Whatever you jury rate, that's not a virtue. It's superficial, it's external, but it's pharisaical. But true virtue is what? True virtue is doing the right thing because of the beauty of God. Simply because God is God. Simply because of who He is. Simply because you want to honor Him for His godness. And if that happens, that kind of virtue is thoroughgoing virtue. That means, when you see the beauty of God, and you say, I just want to respond in truth because He's a God of truth. I want to be a generous person because He's generous to me. I want to be a humble person. In other words, I want to be a self-controlled person because even though Jesus Christ desperately didn't want to go to the cross. See, when I see Him, and I say, I want to be like that because of what He's done, because of who He is. It's aesthetic. You know what that means? Aesthetic. When you listen to music, when you look at a piece of art, when you look at a sunset, and what are you looking for? You're looking for it. You're not looking for something else. You stand there. It is its own reward. That's why God appears to Abraham and says, Abraham, I am thy portion and thy exceeding great reward. And that's the reason why you see God looks at Adam and Eve and says, would you please do something just for me? Because I commanded. The tree was wrong not because in itself, the tree was wrong because it was against it. Now, why did I tell you about that? That's just, well, you know what? Let's apply this. I can move on to the other 2 points. But let's apply this. Gosh, this is terrible. This is awful. I thought I was a pretty good person, but of course I'm doing things out of fear and pride. I mean, I do all kinds of things out of fear and pride. Oh my word, this is awful. Why did you do this to me? I'll tell you why. Let's keep going. Okay, let's keep going. I'm lost. Right? I thought I was pretty good, but I'm lost. I've tried real hard, but I'm not even getting anywhere near because I'm trying to move out of right. Finally. Until you understand what sin really is. Until you say, well, of course, fear and pride are the main things that create all the evil in this world. And yet my virtue is basically jury fear and pride. Oh my Lord, I'm lost in it. You'll actually go to Jesus Christ for what He really is there to give you. You'll actually start looking to Him as a Savior. He's not just an inspiring example. He's not just somebody who'll help you over the humps. He's not somebody who, when you get down, you come to Jesus. Normally you're doing pretty good. You need His salvation from first to last. And only Jesus Christ will deal with fear and pride, not your efforts, not your hard work. Only Jesus Christ will deal with fear and pride. Why? When you see Him dying on the cross for you, that tells you 2 different things. One is, that gets rid of your pride. Why? Because you must be pretty bad. He had to die for you. But it also gets rid of your fear. Why? Because He must really love you.